Oh my goodness. I think I'm almost there. Uh-oh. Hey, babe.
Yeah.
Need a little bit of help here real fast.
Okay.
Hey, guys. Longhorn Lester here. Look at my hat and look at my jacket, Jamie. Jamie made the sweater. You already know that. Please do not give me any jokes about working in a pizza parlor from the Bronx jokes. I've gotten enough of those already. But how about this hat? The Facebook camera is a little bit crooked. I
Oh.
see it like at a slant. Y'all give me just 1 second. This
That
is
better?
my that I think that's perfect.
Okay.
I think it's showing a little bit too much of the ceiling, but I don't know if no, it's okay. Now it's showing too much of my belly. I'll take ceiling over belly anytime.
Are we good?
I think we're looking pretty good. And then the blinds behind me are open, and it kind of puts a little bit of a weird thing. Guys, we are setting up. This is the first time I'm able to come live from the house. And so thank God I have Jamie to help me out with some of the minor things.
How's that?
That's good, Jamie. That is really good. I love this. Don't get me wrong, Jake's having the access to Jake's little studio was amazing, but I feel like we were always invading on Jake's privacy by asking to borrow his house to go live. And now by having our very own internet, fiber internet, is really, really, really neat. Jamie, the only thing I'm worried about is there's a little bit of my face looks ghostly.
Okay.
Ghostly, ghastly, ghostly. I
Okay.
feel like my face has a glow that's not normally there. I prefer Facebook looks good. I like the way that Facebook puts a natural filter on my face and I look like I have a really nice tan. However, the real me is showing up on YouTube and I don't like the real me right now.
How's that?
No, look, just come on in here. Look how nice I'm glowing like a.
Well, babe, this one, Facebook has a ring light around it, and that's what brings out your, fake tan.
Okay, so if y'all do you have to go there? If y'all want to see a more handsome me, go to Facebook. If you're okay with the real me, then you just stay right here on YouTube. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's okay, baby. As
Sure.
long I think I'm okay. I mean,
It doesn't
hey,
look bad.
no, I used to always get on to my students. I taught middle and high school kiddos for a very long time. And I used to get on to the ladies, especially. And I says, ladies, I said, I want you to think about something. And this is true. I'm like, I want you to think about your profile pictures on all of your social media accounts and ask yourself this question. How many of your profile pictures are the real you compared to how many of your profile pictures are a filtered you? And because we all know about these filters you can get on your Snapchats and all of these other types of social media and how they can just take away wrinkles and just give you the finest complexion. And these kids are always talking about, oh no, Mr. Morrow, I'm 100. And they refer to 100% as being real. I am as real as it gets. And so my joke back to them was, oh, you're so real. Yet when your profile picture shows some kind of a filtered this or that. And so ultimately, thank you, Facebook, for having a natural filter so I can feel like I look as good as I look on you. And sorry, YouTube, you got the pale, you got I'm just going to move on from that. I want to talk to you about something I'm very excited about, Longhorn Lesters. And what's so exciting about it is as I was leaving there this morning, and I drove up early and got some things done. And as I was leaving this morning on my way to come back home, making sure I was going to be here by noon to talk with you all, the guys had shown up to set the big, I don't know if it's an 8x8 or a 6x6, the cross post that goes across the top of the entrance right there. You've already seen in the videos where the columns come up. The mason guy had already come to all the concrete work, the masonry, I think they call that. And then you have the 6x6 boards that come up, the post. And today they're going to be doing the cross board across the top. And so I wanted to stay and see that. But I told the fella, I says, Marcus, I says, take a picture and send it to me. And he said, no. I'm like, what do you mean, Dill? I'm paying for this. And he said, no, I'm not going to send you a picture. He goes, I want you and your wife to drive over here and see it for yourself later. He goes, I want you to see it, because he was so excited about his work and he was excited about how nice it was going to look. And Jamie thought that was real clever of him to, and she agrees. She'd rather see it in first person than to see it through the, your camera or whatever, because that just sometimes doesn't do it justice. And I guess I feel that way too. I guess that was pretty smart of him to say that. He wants us to drive by and see it ourselves. So I'm excited about that. So as soon as we're done over here, it is Friday, and then both of the boys are here. They are doing their own thing over at my mom and dad's house right now, but we will drive back over to Longhorn Lester's, and I will put that in some kind of a video. I don't think I'll come live with it because the signal from there is not that great, and we've had some issues trying to go live on that location. But I will include that in our videos. I want to remind you that if there's anybody who, and I've seen the questions, not so much right now, I'm not able to read what's going on. But if there's anybody who wants to see that entire process from start to where we're at now, don't forget that I have made those available to the Facebook supporters. It's, for those folks who donate, what is it, babe? $2.50, $2.49?
Yes.
For those folks that donate $2.49 a month to us, I try to find ways to give them a behind the scenes something behind the scenes, giving them access to just something that I'm not able to bring to everybody. And so I've made 3 December, January, February. I have made 3 very lengthy videos that I put on the supporter page only, where they can see the entire process. December showed a whole lot of us touring the property for the first time, and Jamie and I just noticing things that we liked, some things that we knew we would have to fix, and it just goes through a very raw product, very raw. We had done nothing at that point except a lot of exploring, and so that was in our December video. It was lengthy, babe. It was about an hour.
Yeah,
It's long, but it goes through the entire acreage. Did we take the drone up that time?
No, not so.
We didn't fly the drone on that first video, but we just gave you a really nice look at the entire 20 acres. And then we came back in January and I took the drone up, and we had already at that point begun negotiations. We knew it was going to be ours. At that point, we had already had the inspection done, but you all who have bought property, you know how lengthy this process can be. And with the titling companies and with all of the ins and outs of all of that nonsense. But it's not just a handshake anymore. Obviously, it goes through a lot of different parties, but that was a whole lot of that process was in the January with the drone flight and us beginning to do our first couple of things. Mr. Dub and Miss Sharon, the former owners, they knew it was going to be a tough time moving all of their possessions. And this is a lifetime of possessions that they have acquired there, moving all of those things to their new home in Alabama. And they, one of the selling points, one of the things that they liked the most about working with us is the fact that we weren't going to ask them to completely leave the premises by a certain date. We had told them that we're not going to be moving an RV or anything and trying to stay there. And so all I needed to move up was one of the tractors and one of the ATVs for me to get around, a few tools that I would be carrying back and forth. So I wanted a place to keep those things. And so Mr. Dub made some space in his garage where I could park those things. He gave me a key for when they weren't going to be there. And we went ahead and started work. We began to start contracting some folks to do certain jobs, and Jamie and I were doing some jobs. Jake and I were doing other jobs, and we began work well before we ever officially signed any papers or we exchanged any money. That was kind of scary because at some point, I remember Jamie's over here rolling her eyes, but it's true. That was kind of scary because Mr. Dub and Miss Sharon at that point had not actually bought their new property. They had also found a spot that they liked, but they were going through the same process of getting all the inspections and all of that done, and ended up to where I think the first property didn't work out. And so Jamie and I were terrified that they were going to back out of this deal and leave us was already we already invested a chunk of money into things that we were doing, prepping, for the Longhorns to get there. You remember that? And I'm like, if they back out, I'm going to go up and pull every fence post out of the ground. I will go over there and pull every fence post out of the ground. And I'd already concreted those things in. So that was a scary moment. But they finally found them a perfect property. God works in mysterious ways for good people. He never fails you. And they were diligent in trying to find the right property. And they finally found them a beautiful spot in Alabama. You all know how beautiful Alabama is. And they are now in the process of moving things. But they're not the kind of folks who want to just go get a U-Haul and just have friends come over and load it all and go. They want to be systematic in how they move things. They want to I don't blame them. At their age, they're a little bit older, and so at their age, they want to do things in a systematic way of moving. And so we gave them that liberty to take their time, make their move.
I also think that they're purging, like they're trying to dominate what they
Jamie says, and she also knows that Sharon is kind of trying to purge some things. She's trying to get rid of some things that they don't want to take along the way. And so instead of leaving all that stuff behind for us to have to deal with, Sharon's trying to give things away. She's putting some things on the marketplace. And so they're trying to do it right. And that works out great for us, because even though we want to be there, we want to officially be there, we really can't until they are all the way gone. That makes no sense, does it? So even though we have a lot of projects going on over there, Dub and Sharon are still back and forth, and that's fine. That doesn't bother us at all. This is our home, and this will be our home for a very long time. And if we ever decide to make an official move up to Longhorn Lusters, that will be, listen to me, and when I say at least 10 years, because I need Lex to grow up, and I want Lex to grow up here with his grandparents and his cousins and all of those things which we've talked about. But getting back to where I started, if you want to see those longer videos of the entire process, then there's already 3 of those posted onto the Facebook supporter page. And we will post the one for March, all of the behind the scenes, coming up here in a couple more days or weeks. Wow, that was a lot. I know that for you all who have watched the video on YouTube this morning, you're still upset with me, and I'm reading the comments in the corner of my eye. You want to know if Jamie and I have made up yet. And that's a tough one. The short answer is yes. The long answer is no, because I don't know if y'all even want to hear the long explanation for this whole thing. But Jamie, can you come join me over here?
Oh, Jake's out of town, so I get to be a part of the live today.
I'm asking Jamie to join me because and I'm going to go ahead and, just for the Facebook friends who've not seen this yet, just let you know a little bit of what's happening. I'm sliding over because even though my YouTube is run horizontal, I am
lean in.
I am doing Facebook up and down so I can read the comments, even though I can't see that far without my glasses. I made a video last week of Jamie and I out working on the fence. And in that process, I got frustrated, and Jamie walked off and left me. She left me. And so, Lester being Lester, I tried to find a way to make it a teachable moment, is what we call that in education. I wanted to make it a teachable moment and talk about how sometimes, you and your partner can come to disagreements, and you don't mean to argue, you don't want to fight, but it's just a lack of communication, and it's a lack of know-how. And the reason I brought Jamie over right now is because in my video, I made the analogy of how trying to do barbed wire fencing, which is already dangerous enough as it is, and you're trying to do it with someone who's not really familiar with running barbed wire, We were trying to share gloves and a typical shit show around here. You already know that. But in that process, Jamie got upset and she left me. And so I'm trying to analyze and I am trying to think about how I could have done things differently. But I also try to excuse myself by saying to all of the ladies who have done projects that your significant other are not familiar with, like cooking, for example, making Thanksgiving dinner. If your husband doesn't know how you operate your kitchen, where you keep your utensils and the different things that you need, if he doesn't know how you spice up and saute, the things that you're cooking, he might be lost in that process. And you may be in a rush to get that job done. You may have family coming or whatever else, and you might be lost in that process. And you might also find yourself frustrated and just say, you know what, I'll do it. I'll get it. And that's all it was. It was a very minor tiff that Jamie and I were having. I don't know why she gave me the finger. She walked away.
I didn't give you the finger.
That glove did not get stuck that way on its own, Jamie.
I might have been pulling it off to throw it backwards, but I did not.
I do have workman's gloves that I wear with barbed wire. And when she took that glove off and threw it, that glove landed like that. It landed on the ground. It landed there like this.
So that means that I gave you
that was the last thing you did when you ripped that glove off, and that's how your finger was, and that's how that glove was stuck. Bottom line is, Jamie watched my video this morning, and she's reading the comments, and she sees that a lot of people understand my point of view and my perspective, and they were completely on board with saying, Lester, I get it. You made a slip up. You acknowledged your slip up. You've said you're going to try to find a way to make it up to Jamie. But Jamie had an entire different explanation of, instead of the whole kitchen cooking analogy.
Because no woman expects their man to do everything the same way that we would do it. That's why we pretty much take it all on ourselves, because we already know they're just not going to do it. So the real analogy here is,
first of all, remember that this is a family channel, yet it is already set for 18 and above.
But it's your live, so I can say those things on your live.
It's my live.
Everybody expects these things out of Lester.
True.
Okay, I'm going to be as vague but direct as possible.
Be can't tell them exactly the way you told me. And if you don't, I will, because you said it, not me.
So, ladies, it's like when you're having date night, okay? And you're trying to tell your man how to make something happen for you.
No, so Jamie, it's like when you're having sex and your man's not doing it right. That's what she told me. It's like when you're having good sex, but your man's not doing it right and he can't quite get the job done, and you're trying to tell him how to get it done. And it seems so simple. It's not that hard, for Christ's sake. Just do it like I'm telling you to do, and we'll all be happy here.
But it's really our own fault for not being as descriptive as necessary. We're just saying like bits and pieces of the directive because we expect them to know, and they don't know. So it's the same as fence building. That's where I'm at.
And y'all wonder why we cut it back to once a week. You see why we cut it back to once a week? It's nothing to do with age. It's because we're getting tired of being screamed and yelled at. So we just cut it back to once a week. Or, hey, there's no way we can
I also just walked away. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to get it. And I'm not going to sit here and be yelled at. So I'm done here.
Yeah, there's no way we can win. But I will tell you this. I've never got out of the bed and said, you know what, forget it. I'll just take care of myself. I've never done that.
Oh, my God.
I have never done that. Okay, maybe I have a few times.
Wait. I'm done. Go back to work.
I just spit out my Dr. Pepper on my mouse, my mouse and my keyboard.
Oh, my God.
And I'm turning super red on the filter on Facebook has turned me really red. It's given me a blushing filter. Oh, I'm still paisley white on YouTube, so all is well. Yeah, that was a fun video. It wasn't a fun afternoon because trying to barbed wire yourself, not barbed wire yourself, but trying to run barbed wire on your own is not easy. And you're having to do it really is a two-man job. It really does require two men, and it's dangerous. You can get hurt doing that. And yes, Teresa, my face is red. I get that. I'm trying to slowly stop thinking about it, and it will go away. But it is what it is. What did you say?
It's a two-person job.
It is a two-person job. What did I say? A two-man
Two-man
job? You all know what I mean. A two-person job. And I was there by myself. I did get it done, and Tex was able to have his sleepover that night. And he actually has not been back into the his own pasture since. He's had sleepovers every night. We've only had one small mishap, and I think Jamie made that video that she'll bring to you at some point. Not exactly sure when, but for the most part, Tex is enjoying a lot of quality time in that back pasture with his family, and so all is good on that. The hay net that we've talked about is working out great. I've not had any problems with string and all since we began using the hay net, so we're blessed for that. For you all who keep asking about where is Jake, I've already said that I'm not going to address that. Um, Jake may be on the live. I'm not sure. Someone over here is saying hi to Jake, but I will let Jake bring you his own explanation. I've only in the comments that I've replied to, I've said Jake is fine. I appreciate that so many people worry about Jake. And I honestly, Jamie, I don't know how it feels to take a day off. I have not taken a day off from making videos in 4 years. Y'all do know that.
Babe, I don't know how it feels
Y'all
either.
do know this. A lot of times when I look at the monthly analytics and I see how many videos I've posted that month, sometimes there's 50 or 60 videos posted in a month, and then I realize that some people call it overposting. Some folks would say that you overpost. As a matter of fact, I've actually spoken to other YouTube creators, mostly YouTube creators. Facebook doesn't have a lot of creators. There's not many folks who create on Facebook. A lot more creators create off of YouTube. Facebook is still not really in a place where they promote longer videos. So most of your creators work off of YouTube. And most people try to keep their videos to 3 or 4 videos per week. And that makes it to where they can still manage their lives and still have their families and do all that they do, yet still get out there and make a video a few times a week. It requires the editing, the uploading. You already know we've talked about that process a number of times. And so they have found that that works for them. I, on the other hand, that doesn't work for me because seriously, when I wake up in the morning, I am a man on a mission. And obviously, I go do my morning bus route. But when I come home, if I don't have a video to build, I'll still do the normal daily chores, around the farm. But I need a purpose. And my purpose is building a video, making a video. And sometimes that might make 2 videos, every day is different, but I cannot relax. I cannot feel like I've quantified myself for that day if I have not at least built a video. So that's why I build so many videos. It's not trying to make more money. It's not trying to earn more clout. It's not trying to do anything that has to do with anything monetarily. It's just the fact that that's how I have begun to quantify my life. I've said this. What, baby?
I was also going to say that.
Come closer, though. Come closer.
Sorry, I'm trying not to interrupt your live, but we talk about this often.
Last time Jamie came live from that little spot right there beside the dining room table, I sit right here and I never bothered her. But
he told me before we got started that I was allowed to say things. So.
I welcome input. I welcome you to say whatever you want to say. Go ahead. Squeeze in a little bit closer so Facebook can see you.
What I was going to say was that we've always said that we are paying a blessing forward by sharing this part of our lives. That was our original intention, plan. That was our goal. So when we're outside doing all these things, and the animals live every day, not just 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So even a day off of video is not a day off from our lives. And there's so much that happens that we want to capture, that I think that that's why we over create videos, because there's always something going on, and it's the life that we live, and it's this desire to share the ups and downs, ins and outs, the boring, the highlights, just all as much as we can, because we receive such a blessing from living it.
Yeah, that's true. I also quantify things a little bit differently. Do me a favor. Can
Sure
you
thing.
go find that letter that the lady wrote about the special needs
Oh, yeah.
people?
Hold on a second.
So I see things a little bit differently, even as that. Listen to me. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. The money that we're able to make from, especially from YouTube. Thank you, baby. I have to, baby. I want you to be here when I share this. The money that we make from YouTube has done something to make my dream come true. Buying that piece of property for my Longhorns, right there with that river and just the woods and the pastures and the hills. I Every morning when I drive up, my heart is full. I'm going to cry, and I don't want to cry. Um, don't ever get me wrong in saying that. Well, don't say it's not about the money. The money is amazing, and YouTube has done something for me that would have never happened had we not begin to make and post videos. But the videos would not do anything if it weren't for you folks who watch them. So if they just set their idle in your account, then it wouldn't be anything. So it is a blessing to be able to get paid for something that I would be doing anyway, as far as the jobs and the chores. But this is very important, and I hope that you'll stop talking about Jake just for a minute. Jake, stop commenting just for a second or so. I'm just noticing that a lot of the comments over in the YouTube side are Jake interacting back and forth with everybody. And just give me a second, Jake, because it's kind of important. Um, we, Jamie, just you don't have to read it. If you can read it if you want to, or I can just kind of paraphrase it. I got a letter this week, and it put into words exactly what gives me the most joy from the actual videos. You want me just to paraphrase it?
No, I want to read it.
Okay,
Or you read it.
It's I can't read that small print.
It's powerful.
It is very lengthy, but there's some pictures. All right, I'm going to try, Jamie. Can you do me a favor and turn on the light? Here we go. I got this. All right, here we go. Dear Lester, we are students from an adult education center in Sacramento, California. Lately, all of our teachers and aides, um, they have allowed us to watch a YouTube channel called I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. There are videos about animals. Then they put OMG, rolling our eyes. Some days we are quiet, but
most of the time we
uh, we
are nonverbal.
most of the time we are nonverbal
With
with autism or have developmental disabilities. So let me just stop and kind of explain to you what's going on. So obviously, these are not the students writing this letter. This is the teacher or one of the teacher's aides who's writing this letter and saying it's the kids who are writing it. So these kids who are adults, it's an adult special needs education course or class or school. And these kids are nonverbal guys. They're unable to communicate. I'm going to cry. I can feel it right
As
now,
soon as you open the,
and I don't want to cry.
Well.
I've already cried over this, and I don't want to cry again. But the students say that their teacher has allowed them to watch the YouTube, and they have this channel called I'm a Survivor Sanctuary about animals. And then you
She says,
go read it, please.
on the days where she shows us videos of Tex fighting Billy, we get up out of our chairs and bust up laughing so loud that the students in the next room come to see why we're laughing.
So listen to me, y'all. I mean, picture this for a minute. I don't know if you've ever been in a home or a school setting where they, in the special needs department of your schools, but a lot of times you hear crying, you hear screams, you hear a lot of sadness, but not in this class. In this class, when that teacher turns on a video of an I'm a Survivor video where there's animals, especially when it's something to do with Tex and him and his little tussles with Billy, these kids get out of their seats. They jump around, they laugh, they holler and yell so much that the kids next door have to come over and see what the commotion is all about. Keep going, babe.
Some days we binge watch your channels, and even though we adore Carl and the other babies, our hearts were with Brady when he was lost in the hay, and Tex text is definitely our favorite. I wish I could send you a video, but at our site, it's not allowed.
You can stop right
Hold
there.
on a second. Nope, there's one more thing that I wanted to say.
So I understand, because, you can't record special needs kids without their parents' permission. So I understand you wouldn't want to have a camera videoing that moment of, special needs students and all that they do. But isn't that beautiful, the way their teacher puts on a video and the kids go absolutely crazy? And I love that. I tell you what, that right there, that letter right there is worth any, it's more valuable to me, and what I use to quantify my life and um,
Cry.
my existence. Seriously, that take more pride in that than any piece of property or any hat that I bought, for myself, or anything that Jamie can make. This is really neat. But that right there is gorgeous. And then can you show the pictures?
So they colored pictures of Tex and a colored picture of their favorite animal. This one is from Maria. She says, "I love Tex the best."
Maria loves Tex.
And on the back it says, "This is from Maria. She goes to an adult school with students with disabilities. She watches your videos every day, and Tex is the best. And I love it when he fights Billy." So then this one I love, is Carl. Okay. And this comes from Mario, and Mario loves Carl.
Carl's my favorite.
And this one is another Tex fan, and says, "My new friend Lester." This was what melted me. "My new friend Lester. I like the video of Tex fighting Billy, and I like the baby goats. And Moo is also my favorite." And his name is Lewis. And he says that he wishes Lester could be his friend forever.
All right. And his name is Lewis.
Yeah.
I am your friend forever, Lewis.
I have to join a Zoom in a little bit. I can't be crying. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Can you get me a tissue too? If you thought I would look bad before, wait till I start ugly crying in a video, and you ain't seen nothing yet. But seriously, the blessings that we get from making the videos and making so many videos is something that I've always done. I've always made videos for my kiddos at school, and I've made videos for, my sons. And so my YouTube channel goes back, I think, all the way to 2009, where it's just videos of Lex as a baby, and Ellie in all of his sports games. And it wasn't until, I guess, about 4 years ago, when we started I'm a Survivor, that I began to make I changed the name of my channel. I didn't start a new one. I just changed the name. My channel used to be called Lester's Place on YouTube, and I changed the name to I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. And so all the videos are still there. So video making is nothing new to me. It was just the fact that I've always made videos kind of to give the kids a way to, go home and show their parents a big football play that they made, or a great basketball shot. And they could do that from my channel, because as the coach, I got the best perspective right there. And then making videos of my classroom where the kids may learn a special handshake, or we're doing some kind of neat little project. And so I've always made videos. But yeah, a lot of people ask about the special needs. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And because I like to see people's reactions. When I've done a couple of cameo videos, it's always neat seeing the people's reactions to things that they did not expect. I did one for a lady named Dee this past week. She has breast cancer, and she's not doing real well. And so her friend wrote and told me about her situation, and said that she has a special place in her heart for Pebbles. And so I went out with Pebbles, and we made Dee her own little special video, and I messaged it to her. And then getting the reply back from Dee when she saw the video was just beautiful and heartwarming. And I'll bring that to you guys at some point. But you can't video special needs kids. They have I'm not sure if it's the law or the district policy, but at all the schools I've worked at, there were always kids who you were not able to video without parent consent. But the general overlying rule was you can video kids unless their parents say not to. And so we always knew as a teacher up front which kids could not be videoed. So we always were aware of which classes you can get your camera out, which classes you probably should just leave your camera put away, which kids you can video their birthday celebration or whatnot. And so I'm very familiar with video building, but it's never done as much as what it does now when you see stuff like this. So that kid wants to be my friend forever. So that's awesome. And well, he's not even a kid really. I'm not sure how old Lewis is, but he's an adult. And Lewis, thank you for that. And thank you all for the pictures. And thank you to those teachers who took the time to write that. And you know that the days of Tex and Billy having their scuffles are about over. I don't know the exact date that we're going to make that official move. We are looking for a professional and insured company now, not just some, weekend cowboy who can come help us load and move Tex. Because I told Jamie it's not like you see on Yellowstone, folks. We don't have those kind of things around here, but what you do have are companies that move animals for rodeos. And I'm hoping that right now with the Houston Rodeo in full swing, I can locate a company who can come out and help me, or at least design for me a type of loading system. And then they can bring out their big truck and their big trailer and help me load the Longhorns and get them taken over. Of course, we'll have to pay for that. But I'm excited about it, but it's not quite ready yet. There's still some fencing that has to be done. I want it to be finished. As far as the barn goes, Fidel is working right now at his company, but he has the weekends off. And so tomorrow, Saturday, Fidel and I will drive out and we'll put the metal on the barn. I'm hoping we get it done tomorrow. Fidel refuses to work on Sundays. It may not be Fidel as much as his wife does not let him work on Sundays. And I respect that. She's very religious. And, Sunday is the day that traditionally you give to family and to the Lord. And so as much as Fidel would like to work and make a little extra money, his wife does not allow him to work on Sundays. So I respect that. I do respect that. Have y'all ever noticed that it's on a Sunday when you have a craving for Chick-fil-A? Is that not true?
That's true.
It's always a Sunday when I have the most craving for Chick-fil-A.
How many
And
times have we sat in the drive-through waiting for somebody to say hello and realize, oh,
yeah,
it's
we,
Sunday.
Chick-fil-A does not open on Sundays. They still want to be able to, they're a company who has decided to give that day to its employees and let them have their family time and try to remember the values and the morals of yesteryear, whenever that was the thing. And so, yeah, Fidel is like our own Chick-fil-A. He does not work on Sundays. So we have to get whatever we can do done on Saturday, or there's an occasional day whenever when he's between different jobs, he's doing laying carpet. And so sometimes when they finish a job and he may have a couple of days between jobs, he'll come out and do something. But for the most part, I have Fidel one day a week. And so we're going to get there early and we're going to work. We're hoping for good weather. I bought the metal yesterday. I drove it over. I parked the trailer right there in front of the barn, and we're going to get an early start and get that going first thing tomorrow, and hopefully get it done. Of course, I'll make that into videos, and that will be something that you'll be seeing next week in one of our weekly videos. I still see a whole lot of chatter back and forth with Jake. And I'm glad you guys love Jake so much. Jake has taken some time off. I'm going to let him be the one to bring you his own video. I encouraged him to go live today at 3:00. I don't know if he'll do that or not, but I told Jake he could do his own live and where he could give you all the full explanation of what he's been up to all week. I'll tell you what, though, Jamie, it's been funny how people have speculated all week long and told other people like they have some kind of an inlet on Jake. And they have told other people where Jake's at, what he's doing. And I'm sitting there reading the comments and I'm thinking, that's not. And guys, please don't ever let anybody make you think that they know more than you do. Don't ever let anybody make you think that they know more about this channel than what you do. We're obviously we can't get around to answering every question, in the comments, but we do try to go through and answer as much as we can. And some things we just prefer not to answer. If it's something that has to do with my dad or with Bree or Kim or Jake or Le, they have their own channels, and so you should go ask them, and they'll get to you whenever they're ready to, and they can tell it, in their own words. But yeah, we've tried to avoid talking about a whole lot about Jake. Uh, but yeah, we've had the ice fishing, and we've had the him at Disneyland, and people have created. I think that people have created where they would like to see Jake, and Jake will come to you at 3 o'clock today. If our plan is still holds, I told Jake, give me time to get my life out of the way, because he was going to come to you at 11. And I says, no, I says, do not go to at 11, because I'm at 12 and you're going to make people be all bored of watching their internet. And then they're going to end up having to go back to work and leave me with nothing. So I think he was going to wait till later this afternoon, and then you'll be able to hear all about Jake's adventures and what he's been up to over this spring break. Gail, there is not a house on the new property. That's a great question. There are two metal buildings. One of them is a very large. Babe, what's that? A 40 by 60? Yeah. There's a very large 40 by 60 building that Mr. Dub, who's the former owner, he had parked an RV up inside of his building. He has big garage door openings, so they parked an RV inside there. His wife Sharon did build a kitchenette area outside of the RV. He does have hot water heater, plumbing. So there is a potential and a place for us to at least shower off and use the restroom. A toilet. Jamie says, there's a toilet. There's a toilet. And so that's exciting. Please do not try to send any more of those. What are they called?
Bidets.
Bidets. We already have a collection of 5 of those. And did you ever talk about your
my glamorous offer? You can tell them. They might not have seen.
Yeah, Jamie in one of her lives talked about, we were making jokes about us getting sponsorship opportunities. And of course, as the nonprofit, I'm a Survivor has chosen not to do that. We never want to confuse any of the nonprofit along with things that we can actually advertise on. So, like I said earlier, I'm a Survivor. Facebook is our nonprofit. We don't make a penny off of all of that. But I'm a Survivor. YouTube is Lester Morrow money. And so even though I could very easily do sponsorships on I'm a Survivor YouTube, I choose not to, as to not to confuse people. But there have been people who've offered opportunities to make a few extra dollars or to receive some free products, the way other creators do. But you all know about the sponge offer that I got. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that now, because I just don't know the right terminology. I don't know the right way to say it. There is no right way to say it, but I did get an offer to be the spokesperson for the sponge. It's the sponge, the sperm sponge. I don't know why that's even. I didn't even know that was a real thing. They don't call it a sperm sponge. They call it something more vulgar. I think that you probably can guess where I'm going here. And if you do not believe me, you're welcome to look it up. I don't make this stuff up. There's some things that I could never make up. Never. And so I did get an offer to be the spokesperson for the cum sponge, and I chose not to. I said, no, that freaked me out. And Jamie gave me a hard time about it. And if lo and behold, if she does not get an offer to be the spokesperson for the bidet, and we made a video about the bidet and the fact that I've never used one, and Jamie has used hundreds of them. With all of your world travels, you always tell me when the hotels have bidets. A lot of the uppity class hotels where Jamie stays when she travels will have bidets, and she tells me about it. I don't know why she tells me about it. I don't know if it's supposed to like excite me or whatever, but I've always wondered how that must feel. And no, I've not gotten the water hose out to try it. It's just not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. And so for someone to send us some of those, we have not installed those yet. They seem to be very easy to install. I'm just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for company to come over and see that. I'm embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed. I don't know why. I want to experience that at some point, but I'll do that when we go off to a hotel. If we ever go stay at a nice hotel, I'll do it there. But Jamie has gotten a promotional thing from a bidet company, and they wanted to promote their bidets. And I think that's not quite as embarrassing as my paid promotional thing, but we're not going to do that. I don't know. I told Jamie, I said, you know what? I might would do somebody cool like Dr. Pepper, because if I really do use a product, then I don't guess I mind telling you that I use it. I don't know why we can't get cool promotions like tractors and farm equipment.
People like.
Think about this for a minute. Jamie bought, or someone gifted us, that little mini chainsaw. You have one here in the house? No. Someone gifted Jamie a little mini chainsaw, and so she used it around the farm. And I kid you not, if we have not helped that company sell at least 100, because people have asked us, where do you get it? What's it called? What's the name brand? How do you like it? And so without having any paid promotions whatsoever, Jamie has told people it's called the mini chainsaw and it's great and blah, blah, blah. And man, if we've not gotten tons of emails about it's the best thing's ever happened to me. And as a matter of fact, I don't know how, but in a recent video, my dad is over there using a mini chainsaw. My dad is using a mini chainsaw, and I don't know if someone gifted him that mini chainsaw or what, but it is a really neat thing. Please don't cut my ear off with that.
Their battery's not attached.
All right,
It's
so
the best tool that I've ever purchased.
Why can't we be promoted by people like this, like mini chainsaws, really cool, tough, manly products? And these little mini chainsaws are amazing. And I'm not promoting it officially, but I told you, if I use something, I don't mind telling you if I like it or if I don't like it. As a matter of fact, today on YouTube and Facebook, no, YouTube was yesterday, I think. Facebook is getting my real review, the real review of that cement substitute. And you know how much I like that stuff. No one paid me for it, but I'm like, if I'm going to use it, I'm going to talk about it. And for me, it made a video opportunity, but I'm not receiving free products. I want you to look at my ear. I see a couple of people asking about it, and I want to show you. You'll have to wait for the video, but yes, I got my ear practically ripped off this week. Maybe I exaggerate a little bit, but I've had quite the ear injury, and you'll see how that happened in this week's upcoming videos. I do have a couple of more letters to read. I know I'm getting close to my time. I want to thank the almost 5,000 people who are taking time from your lunch to sit and talk with me. There's a couple of packages that I brought inside the house to open. I've not done a gifting goodies in a while, and so I thought I would just do a few things right here and get back out there. So I hope nothing else is going to be as emotional as that first letter. I tell you what, I don't like to cry on camera. Oh, wowzer. That's kind of nice. Now, that's obviously not text, but it is a bull and it is a Longhorn, and it's a really nice picture. And it's in black and white, and it's already got a frame around it. So that's beautiful. I don't know if there's a name of where it came from. I think the shipping company, and I'm not able to read it, from Las Vegas, but I'm not able to read the name on that. Looky here. This is kind of scary. This one here came from somebody, and it's been examined by somebody else. It's, I believe it comes from overseas. It comes from Canada. And I can't picture the Canadians doing anything mean. But look, the Canadians actually opened it up. The U.S. Customs, no, the Customs opened it up. Customs opened this thing up to make sure I wasn't receiving anything illegal. Thank you, Customs. I appreciate that. And so I'm sorry for the sweet Canadian who sent it. And but it has been opened and approved by U.S. Customs. All right, Lester, do not show on live. Okay, well, there you go. I got that straight up. Very first thing I say, do not show on live. And they say this was meant in good fun.
Oh boy.
Okay, so something I will not show on live, but it was sent in good fun. I wonder what the U.S. Customs people thought about it, if it was in good fun for them. So I cannot show that on live. That saved a couple of minutes. But I will. I mean, it's right here in the house, so I will open that up as soon as I cut the live off. We have another one that has come through airmail, and it has come from Canada as well. Wow, the Canadians are being very kind, just sending all kinds of stuff. I feel like we did not give the Canadians, we did not do them much justice when they were having their trucker issues recently. And we try so hard not to talk about world events and politics and everything else. And I noticed that trust me, I don't like to watch the news, but I watch it enough to know what's going on in the world. I think that we have to. Oh, babe. No. It is it's a little stone that I can put out in the memorial garden for Petunia and Lola. And it says forever in our hearts. This has actually been something that someone had carved out of granite. And so this is a very strong stone, and it is a beautiful gift. I don't see a name attached. I'm afraid that the only name on here is the company who sent it, not the name of the individual who sent it. And then there's one more package that I brought in. It also says to Lester. And so I'll try to get it open here for you. Then I had a couple of cards I wanted to read. Now this here looks like it's in the shape of another painting or a drawing, some kind of a sketching. I'm going to be real careful not to cut into it, damage it. All right, let's see here. Oh, Jamie, yeah. This is one of the worst days of our life. This was so someone took the photograph of one of the scariest days of our lives. So the pandemic had just lifted. The mask mandate was still in effect, but they had finally reopened. They had begun to reopen a couple of things. And there's a place here called Kima, the Kima Boardwalk, which is about 45 minutes from the house. And it's really neat. It's right there on the Gulf of Mexico, and it's just a really fun place to go. Where it's a boardwalk. It's a boardwalk, and there's like an amusement park, and there's animals you can see, and it's a fun place to take the kids. And so it may have been around this time last year, wasn't it? It may have been spring break of last year that we took the boys to the Kima Boardwalk, and they wanted to ride a roller coaster. And guys, I've not been on a roller coaster in years. Jamie, even longer than that. Jamie broke her neck back when she was very young. And so she's always had to be very careful, with her neck. She, walks around very gingerly when it comes to anything with the neck. And that roller coaster, it looked like it wasn't so bad from ground looking up. But once we were on it, and it just begins to do all the twists and turns. And when we were done, Jamie and I we both felt horrible. The boys wanted to do it again, and we said, no, you're on your own. Go do it, but we're not going to do it. And so Jamie had to, uh, she was trying to, this is obviously before the roller coaster started. This was before the ride started because I promise you, when it was over, you're not going to see that pleasant a face on Jamie or myself. There was nothing pleasant about that ride. All I can say is that we did it. And there is something big about that. When you can do things with your kids, you create a memory, you create a moment. And we did take that picture, and now we have that portrait to remind us of how terrified we were that day. This is from Chrissy Lamb. Chrissy Lamb is the name that I recognize because she has done so much for us here at I'm a Survivor. And I'm not real sure what she's gotten here, but I'm going to open it up and read it. Looks like a card. All right. Now, it talks about my birthday, but the problem is my birthday is still a very long ways away. So she says, Lester, of course it's not your birthday, but I just had to send this card because I've never seen an ostrich in a top hat on a card before. Oh, I didn't even notice that. So it's an ostrich with a top hat, looking very posh and royal. Uh, must come from Wells. Anyway, I've never seen an ostrich in a top hat on a card before. Please don't put yourself under any pressure to entertain us, Lester. Pressure? Lester, it's nice and all, but I pray the focus would always be on the animals and their individual stories. Chrissy, no offense, but I create those stories. No pressure. Babe, did you hear the card?
Yeah.
Please do not put any pressure on yourself to entertain us because it's always been about the animals and their stories. Yeah, I create those stories. We visited a farm recently. We visited another farm very recently, and a farm where I do not know the animals. And so within the first 5 minutes, I told Jamie, hey, I'm having writer's block. And she's like, writer's block? And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm trying to create a video, yet I don't know any of the animals' personalities to create a story because I'm a story creator. I like to create stories. I like to create, listen to me, as much as I say I'm done with my teaching career. I'm never going to be able to truly be done with my teaching career because now what I'm doing is taking things in real life and still trying to apply some kind of literary function to it. And so what I've done out here in our pastures are taking an entire cast of characters, and I have watched them and loved them long enough to create stories where we have our villains, we have our protagonist and our antagonist. We have a plot structure. We have the rising action. We have the big climactic moment, and then we have the falling action where everything's going to end in a happy ending. Not always, but most of the times. And that's just what I've done, and that's what I like to do. And so finding myself at a different farm where I felt like it was true writer's block. I was able to get a really good video out of that, but a lot of it took some serious genius. Jamie, it took genius. It took genius on my part to get a video out of animals that I'm not familiar with. But I'll tell you what. So here's what I've done a couple of times. I have copied some ideas from Jason over at Cog Hill. And what Jason has done in a lot of his videos is he does his videos in, I don't know what you call it, but in segments. So little segments. So Jason will go out and he'll talk about what he's going to do or what he's doing. And then he'll stop talking as much and he'll just play some soft music and he'll tie in videos or pictures of the animals doing what they do. And then he'll come back in and talk about what he's doing now, and he'll put in more music. So that's not really my style because I'm just want to talk the whole time. You already know that. But what I did do was this week, can you scratch that? Feels good. What I did do this week is I went ahead and tried a couple of Jason's tactics, and I'm shocked that the comments were actually very positive. People were completely okay with me talking less. Shame on you. You're completely okay with me talking less and using music in the videos as kind of a background music with the animals just in there doing their natural thing. And so I will continue to do that. It actually makes my life a lot easier. It actually adds a little bit more content to the videos because you can see the animals doing what they do. So, Chrissy, as far as me, stop trying to entertain as much and let the animals do their thing, there'll be a little bit more of that. But unfortunately, I'm just going to continue to be me because I find myself as really funny. And even though most people don't laugh at me, I laugh at myself
And that's
a
all it is.
lot. Seriously.
You are funny though. I laugh at you all the time. I want to back up to what you said about the animals and having writer's block when we were at that other farm. I too found myself doing that, and even though Lester is amazing at this, we create the personalities and the stories of the animals and things like that. I still found that it's not just show up and have a pig to and it just comes. It really is taking their personalities and showing you who they are with human characteristics and words. So showing up at the other farm and not knowing any of them and not being able to spend the time to see their ins and outs, I think is really what the greatest challenge was. Because had we been able to spend more time and watch their antics and things like that, then we could have probably done similar things, but it would have been less challenging. But we didn't have that amount of time, and it was just like I would compare it to like going down the road to someone's farm and walking up to the fence and trying to
Make a
make
story
a
out of
story
their
out of
animals. Yeah.
that part. So it's hard. It really is. It's harder than you think. I also want to point out that Rick is in the comments like crazy over here. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Rick's talking about his lunch, and people are fighting over what Rick is having for lunch or something, I think.
Well, that's interesting. Rick has been good to us, and Rick has helped us tremendously. But no, going back to what Jamie said, it's not easy, but I am blessed that it comes a little bit more natural to me than it does to the other creators here on Morrow Hill. That's why I always say you find your creator, you find which of us fits your uh, video type. It's kind of like if you go to Netflix or if you go to Hulu or whatever you watch on TV, you watch certain series or you watch certain channels because that's what that fits you. If you go to the different news programs, some will watch Fox, some watch CNN because they side more with that type of news coverage. And so it's nothing different about us. So I don't let it bother me so much. I'm trying to think if there's a reason that that card was prompted, if there's something that I did that prompted that. Um, to say that don't let it bother me so much that I'm not entertaining. Just let the animals be themselves. Anyway, I'm not bothered. And if I come across as bothered, I promise you it was a short lived little thing. And that happens a lot. You don't stay mad for long at my age. You just like whatever and you get over it and you move on. You do, you move on. Sometimes Jamie would like me to focus on things a little bit longer than I'm able to. But I've also learned that at my age. I'm not going to sit around using my time inefficiently and unwisely. I'm just going to get things done. It's nice to have Rick on the live. I'm still waiting for Rick to do a video about Bucky's and the fact that he has been chasing Tex, our big Longhorn bull, around the pasture. And I want to know, I want someone to say, you know what? Bucky's has a history of running cows. I had to tear this envelope all apart to get
I
into
saw
it.
you struggling with that.
There should be a curbside delivery for things like peace, healing, and hugs.
True story.
Can you read that for me, love?
Sure. Dear Lester, Jamie, and family, I wanted this card to say how much I love you all and your videos. Your humor, your laugh, they get me through the darkest days. You're all such beautiful people, inside and out. Bless you all, babies big and small. Oh, and Lester, could you give Carl and shirtless Jake a kiss for me? Oh, I'll record it. I'll record it. Both of those events.
Remember,
I volunteer.
remember my little ear injury that I talked about recently?
That's why I want to record it.
I'm not going to say who it came from, but it might have been either of Jake species or the Carl species. And you can just kind of go from there. Okay. I am not putting my face anywhere near Carl ever again.
But you will kiss Jake?
I'll kiss Jake. All right. Last one. I've already opened it. Can you read that and show it up? And then I'll read the card.
Oh, this is definitely about us. So it's a Dr. Seuss magnet, and it says, we're all a little weird, and life's a little weird. And when we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours, we join up with them and fall into mutual weirdness and call it love. This is about you and me.
That's
I'm
Dr.
sure
Seuss. Yeah, through and through. And so that is a magnet. And she would like us to put that somewhere. We'll put it on our fridge over here.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. She says, hey, Lester and Jamie, I'm writing to tell you that you bring a lot of joy to my life. She's a widow. She's alone after her husband died of heart disease. I love all of the animals. Her favorites are Pablo, Donkey Dan, Carl, Moo, and the lovely Kate.
Kate is lovely.
One of the feathered babies. I hope you like the magnet. It made me think of you. Anyway, this is from Susan, and so thank
Aw,
you very
thank you,
much, Susan.
Susan.
And I can't imagine, talking about her husband passing.
Mm-mm.
I was talking to Joanne this week, and Joanne now has gone a couple of weeks without Uncle Riley, and now, of course, she's still very busy with trying to move things out of the old house to the new house. All of the paperwork that she's involved with the VA in trying to get the tombstone and all of those kind of paper that she's busy on. And I said, Joe, I says, I'm so sorry you're so consumed. But she told me, she said she's happy to stay busy
Yeah.
because she doesn't know what she's going to do with herself once everything slows down. And so already at this point, a lot of people who were coming by have stopped coming by as much. And she's finding herself kind of trying to find the new norm in life when she's not taking care of Uncle Riley anymore. Uncle Riley is in a better place now where he no longer needs help and care. And so Joanne has to only worry about herself now. So she's spending time decorating the little house, doing a lot of things with her dogs. She has dogs and cats. And I don't know if she watches a lot of TV or movies and stuff like that, but it is. So I get it. Is it Kate? Was it Kate?
No, Susan.
Susan. So I appreciate you spending your time with us and watching our channels, and especially when you find animals that you have a connection with, that you find something about them that you just tend to like them more than others. And even Jamie and I, who are here every day, all the time, we have our favorites as well. There are some animals that bring a smile to our faces, and there's other animals that terrify us. Geese, just to name one. I am more scared of what the geese are going to do to me than I am Carl, and that's any day of the week. Seriously. So
You should have loved them more when they were little. That's all I can tell you.
I know. So anywho, I think that's about all. I've already exceeded my
I see that.
hour and 9 minutes. I did have one more letter, but as soon as I opened it up, the first thing I saw on top was not video worthy, not video worthy. And so I'll take time to read that a little bit later. I just want to say thank you for all that you've done for us. Longhorn Lester's is coming out great. I can't wait to bring you the video that I'll take later on today when I get back over there. For you guys who have given us the privacy we've asked about Longhorn Lesters and stopped asking all of the questions about where is it, where is it, where is it. We've addressed that already. We're not going to talk about it. Longhorn Lesters is going to stay a very secluded place for the betterment of our animals. It can never and it will never have the traffic that this place over here has. That was one of our criteria when we were looking for properties, is to find a quiet street in a quiet neighborhood where I would say most of the people who live on that street are as close to, what do you call those folks who just went off gridders?
Off grid, yeah.
They are as close to getting off grid as they can possibly get. I have met all of the neighbors. They are very excited about meeting Tex and his family. I feel like the neighbors are excited about being a part of Longhorn Lesters, and they know that we will not be living there. And I have gotten the word of at least 3 of our closer neighbors that they'll keep an eye on things for us. We've exchanged numbers and they'll let us know. We are saving money to install a really nice camera setup where we'll be able to see from here what's going on at the gate, what's going on in the barn, what's going on around the pastures. As far as the number of people who've talked about their worries with predators, guys, if you live near the woods, then you're going to have predators. But I don't think you should ever worry about Tex and any of the Longhorns. They're not. A predator around here is not going to attack a bull and his heifers or his babies. We don't have those kind of predators. Okay, we're not dealing with bears and packs of wolves, and so our animals will be fine. We will. Jamie and I are still working on the logistics of how we're going to make it. We don't know if it's going to be a every morning visit, an every afternoon visit. If we're going to work from there throughout the day, if we had good internet, we'll figure it out. Though we will figure it out, and I promise you, as soon as we know, we will bring it to you. And I guess the last thing that I'll say about Longhorn Lesters is there's been a lot of worry with the fact that you're going to miss out on seeing Tex and his family. And I'm telling you that you're not. As a video creator, I'm going to video wherever I'm at. If I'm here at I'm a Survivor, then you'll be seeing I'm a Survivor videos. When I go over to Longhorn Lesters, you're going to see Longhorn Lester videos. Now, as far as the drama between Tex and Billy, you'll see no more of that, but that's actually a good thing.
It's a bittersweet thing. So let's say that it is very good for Tex. It's very good for Billy. It's good for our fences. It's good for us. But there's a lot of entertainment between that camaraderie back there. And
well, here's what I think is going to be replaced with. I believe that Santana, we all know Santana is Tex's beautiful wife and his lifelong partner, his number one squeeze. But you do know that we'll be buying at least 2, possibly 3 more females. And so if you want to see some drama, I think if y'all think that Tex and Billy were able to create drama, I don't think you have any idea what a couple of mean girls can do.
Oh, they all know. They live this life. They know.
Most of you ladies out there, you know how mean ladies can be to each other. I hate that. I do. I hate that. But a girl code doesn't exist with Longhorn ladies the way it's supposed to exist amongst you ladies. And so I believe any future drama is not going to be with Tex. He's only going to sit back and watch and laugh. And he's going to be very entertained. And it's going to be Santana who's going to have to pick up her game and always be on the lookout of who's getting too much time with her man. So it should be very interesting and very entertaining, and there will be a lot more videos. So never to worry about a lack of content. I will still be coming to you several times a day, probably more than what you want to see. And that's just what we do. That's just what we do. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you for we got a little over 4,000 folks who've hung out with us today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And Jamie, that's all I got. Can you end it in a really upbeat and classy way?
Thank you all for loving us, for allowing us into your homes and phones. We hope you have a super blessed weekend. Catch Shirtless Jake live at 3. Is that right?
That's what he told me last. I haven't seen all of the fine details, but Jake was going to go live at 3. He may have changed that, but
3-ish. We'll say that. And we'll see y'all on Sunday as well.
You know what I told Jake to do? And this is something that we've never done before. Set a premiere. You know what that is?
I've read it. I don't know what it does.
I don't know if Facebook has that option, but YouTube allows you to set your video or your live as a premiere. And what that does is you tell everybody what time you're going to go. So let's just say 3 o'clock. And so you get an alert at whatever time he says it that Jake's going to be live at 3 o'clock. And then at about 30 minutes until that, you get a countdown timer. It's something that you can see on your phone of how much time you got. And it will start with a timer counting down from 30 all the way down to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And all of a sudden, there comes Jake on his live.
Wow.
That would be awesome. I've never done a premiere before, but I know other creators that do use the premiere pretty often, especially on lives.
Well, maybe we'll do that on Sunday.
We should try that on Sunday. And so here's the beauty of the premiere. Whenever we start a live, we have to find ways to wait. It's a wait time. We have to wait long enough until we have enough people have joined to where you're not sitting there repeating the same thing twice. But when you have a premiere, anyone can go ahead and join the room. And you're also watching that countdown clock. You can already start chatting with each other and whatever you want to do. But right when it gets down to the 0 mark, that's when Jake pops up, or when we pop up, or whoever is doing the premiere that day.
I had no idea.
It's awesome. So thank you for loving us and for putting up with our antics, and for all the babies. Everyone is healthy and doing great out there. Spring is in the air. And it's just gorgeous outside. It's gorgeous. And I hope that you're getting just as beautiful weather where you're at.
I was going to challenge everyone to step outside today and let the sun hit your face. And one more challenge is to compliment someone, a stranger that you encounter before Sunday.
Yeah, before Sunday. Continue to pray for those folks in the Ukraine. I don't know politics, but I do know World War. And that scares me. You know, I had both of my grandfathers were in the World War II, and both come back with horrific stories. And, you know, we have I worry. I really do worry about what's to happen with all of that. But as of right now, I just feel horrible for those people who are living amongst all of that, the Europeans that are just this close to all of that. And, so I don't know, you know, we can argue back and forth on who's this and who's that and who should do this and what should happen with here, but we're not going to do that. Just say that just for the people part of us, just say your prayers for those people, and not just in Ukraine, even a lot of the Russians who are against this war effort.
I think feel just like for the human beings involved and those affected that are not even directly there. If you can say a prayer for those people and just keep them in your thoughts, I think that's part of the, you know, doing better and being kind.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, y'all. Oh boy, you want me to do this
one? Find it? End stream right there, and click finish right there.
You got to hit end all the way.
And end right there. Bye, guys.